This is a KTM 500 EXC that is street legal. I went ahead and installed the rim locks, front and rear, and then went to a more aggressive off-road tire. Of course, once you do that, you're considerably out of balance on the wheel tire combination. There are a few options out there for balancing them. There's these spoke weights that slide on. For some reason, I just can't get past the fact that it just looks like a big lead weight on a spoke. So I decided to go with a stick-on style weight. I first tried 1/4 ounce weights. They just don't have enough. You have to put way too many on them to balance these tires. So I went to a 1 ounce weight, and one of the things that I've done is I've designed a little tool that allows you to bend the lead weight to match the contour of the rim. Of course, the rear is different than the front, so you have to have two tools. But I'll go ahead and show you real fast what I came up with to allow you to put the wheel weights, stick them onto the wheel. These are a 1 ounce lead weight double back tape stick on. Of course, they're straight. They work great on automotive, but they're not going to work on the bikes because there's just not any surface area that'll allow these to go on. Even the 1/4 ounce weights, there's really no surface area to put them on. This is the gauge that I use to measure the arc of the wheel front and rear. You can see this one's based off of the rear. You just put it across, measure what that is. KTM's, a lot of the wheels are pretty much the same, I would imagine. What I found is for that arc, the inner portion of the arc, where the something to match the contour of the wheel, 26 front, 32 rear. And so you have to bend one of these weights around one of those sockets, and to do that you just can't use the same size arc for the inner and outer because of the thickness of the weight. You got to come up with a slightly bigger arc. So what I found was using a 32 mil for the outer template for the front and a 36 mil socket for the template for the rear. When you put the weight in a vise flat and then you use this to compress it, that gives you a pretty good arc. So this is what the front one looks like afterwards. That's what the rear one looks like. Kind of see that. Of course, the front's a little bit more aggressive of bend. You have a higher probability of losing the paint. It's not a big deal. I was going to rattle can these a flat black anyway, so they better match the wheel. The factory wheel has kind of a matte or a flat look to it. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like in the vise before and after the bend. This is what it looks like with the pieces put inside the vise. If you got the socket for the KTM 500, it's a 32, and then I've got a piece of cut aluminum, and then here's the 1 ounce weight. And so I use some wood on the bottom of the vise to hold the socket up, so I'm pushing on the thick part of the socket. You don't want it against the wall. It probably will break it if it's a cheaper socket. So anyway, I'll show you once it's crushed. Here's it with it crushed. The paint does chip a little bit. I'll have to rattle can them before I put them on. It takes a little bit of work. Breathing a little bit after it, so might have to use a breaker bar on the vise end of it. But the contour works pretty good. Here's the wheel, rear, front would be exactly the same, just a slightly different arc or bend radius. So here's one of the weights that's been bent. You can put it right there. You can see that it sits pretty good. It's a 1 ounce weight. It sits pretty good between the raised portion of the wheel where the nipples come out, and it matches the contour of this arc right there, the radius, or whatever, I don't know what the hell it's called, of the wheel. So all I have to do on that is just put some new 3M tape on and then stick it down, and it's as good as gold. So I think for the rear ones with the rim lock and the tube, because unfortunately KTM has the rim lock on these wheels and the valve stem, they're not opposite. They're pretty much in this almost the same, side of the wheel. I think they're only about 4 or 5 spokes apart. So you probably are going to need, my guess is about 3 to 4 ounces of wheel weight to get these balanced adequately. if you do a 1/4 ounce, do the math. It's a lot of damn little weights. So I decided to try the 1 ounce to give this an upgrade. So if you guys got any questions on any of the stuff on this, drop me a comment and I'll reply with whatever info I can provide. Have a good one.